I'm just here so I don't get fined. G'day, Steeler Nation. Welcome back to Steelers Nation Australia. Or if you're new here, welcome to Steeler Nation Australia, where I do videos pretty much every day or every second day. And we're talking Steelers football. We're getting ready for Steelers versus Bengals, my Monday, your American Sunday at 1 p.m. But as I do normally too, I look around Twitter, and I'm watching the game too today. The Raiders are winning 17-16, so hopefully the Raiders can win. Or they've already won by the time this video comes out. Because we want to see the Chiefs, fall over just a little bit. But I scroll around Twitter and I look for Steelers news. I look for what's happening, who's in, who's out, what are the players talking about. And I came across George Pickens. Now, I'm a big fan of George Pickens. I like him, but yes, there's a few things rough around the edges. Maybe sometimes he's misunderstood. Maybe sometimes he's a bit of an ego, a bit of a temper tantrum in certain parts. But when you look at a pure football sense, George Pickens is highly talented. He's highly talented. You throw that man a ball, 50-50 turns into a 60-40, 70-30. He's awesome for our Steelers. He's number one receiver. Russell Wilson and him have a really good connection. He gives us the Steelers a really good chance to win games. But look, I don't want to cut him. I don't want to get rid of him. I don't want to do that kind of stuff. I think George Pickens is a good player. I think he's still a young player too, so he's going through the motions. But he channeled his inner. Let me bring up the quote that he said here. This is via Nick Farabaugh. George Pickens channels his Marshawn Lynch today in his media press conference. Says, "I'm just here so I won't get fined. I'm just here so I won't get fined." Now, he was asked two questions. The first question was from, I believe, Brooke Pryor. Now, Brooke Pryor has a lot of history in Pittsburgh media, inside that locker room, trying to stir the pot all the time. And also, Mike Tomlin really shuts her down quite a lot. So she's part of the Steelers media, part of ESPN or whatever she is, and she's doing her job with the media. I'm not just picking on her, but the question did come from her and from another person, and that's when George Pickens says, "I'm just not here so I don't get fined." Now, there's been a lot of situations with Mike Tomlin and Brooke Pryor also, so that's why it's quite funny. And I'm going to give you my take on it, and does it matter? Is overall, should we be concerned about George Pickens' behavior? As he said, "I'm just here so I don't get fined." I don't think we should be too concerned. But the question from Brooke Pryor was, talking of concerns, are you worried about the red zone offense? What are you going to do to improve that? Yada, yada, yada. So she asked that question, and George Pickens said, "I'm just here so I don't get fined." He did answer a few other questions in the interview, but there was another time that he said to another reporter that I'm just here so I don't get fined again. But it was also talking about the fines in general, because there was this NFL was meant to crack down on George Pickens and that fight he had with the cornerback, the Browns cornerback, near the end of the end zone. So one of the reporters said, "Do you have any information or have you been fined from the NFL from that incident?" Now, I understand the NFL and the media, the Steelers media, Steelers beat writers, they want information. They want clickbait titles. They want things to try and, cause drama, talk about things, because that moves, papers, that moves the needle in terms of getting revenue and all those kind of things for what they want to accomplish, right? Is reaching more people, talking about the Steelers, but also creating drama at the same time. And George Pickens really didn't want anything of it. He said in the interview, "I'm just here so I don't get fined." To me, when Marshawn Lynch said that in the Super Bowl, was pretty much like a quiet FU. Like, I have to be here, but I don't want to talk to you, so I'm just here so I don't get fined. That's a quiet FU. Double birds FU. And George Pickens did that. Now, there are two ways you can see this. There's one where you say George Pickens is immature and he needs to grow up. And the other way is the media is fishing for, drama, clickbaity articles, trying to get a bite on George Pickens to say something stupid so they can throw him under the bus. I'm somewhere in the middle. At some time, you gotta remain respectful to the media. Maybe not give them too much, and play the game, but don't go too crazy, like flipping the bird back to them. And on the other side of the media doing their job, can we just talk football in a sense? Like George Pickens coming up versus the Bengals, can we ask him about what does he think about the game? Do we have to go back towards, the red zone struggles? Or we know it's a problem. The Steelers know it's a problem. Everyone knows around the league that the red zone has been struggling because Chris Boswell's been getting a lot of field goals, right? And I'm okay with the field goals, but TDs are better. We know it's a problem. And also with the fine, when one of the guys from the media said, what are your thoughts? Has the NFL reached out to you about the fine? Is it the worst question? Not really. But does it need to be said? Not really. Maybe ask George about what he thinks about the upcoming game. What does he need to do to improve? Is he excited? Is he this? Is he that? But they're always trying to fish for something. So I understand what George Pickens is really doing. He's just saying a quiet F you. Don't want to talk about it. Catch me after the game. Now we also know in Steelers' recent history with the media and the press conferences, Najee Harris has been like that too. He doesn't like talking to the media. He just likes doing his own thing. When he went to Latrobe and he walked down the grass hill, he didn't go past the media or the guys down the stairs and gave them a quiet FU too. So it's always that constant battle between player, media, the media trying to fish something out, create big drama, create like that one sentence he says that, X, Y, Z, I'm taking that, and then blowing out that, and then trying to paint a different narrative for that player. Now, did George Pickens do the right thing by saying, I'm just here so I won't get fined? Or did he create more controversy in that sense? I, for one, don't overly think it matters either way for George Pickens saying this or the media trying to do too much clickbaity and grabby drama, to fire the fuel and poke the bear, right? For George Pickens' side, you go out there, you get the job done. You connect with Russell Wilson, get 89 yards, 110 yards, TDs, you play the game of your life, and you put all that aside you and just go out there and focus on football. So in his response, yeah, it's okay. And for the media, I'd just say they're doing their job like they always have to do. They have to do these things, and YouTube channels out there, beat writers, podcasters, media, social media, everyone does this stuff to grab something, to make something bigger than what it really is. And at the end of the day, for myself being a fan channel, I'm not a reporter. I'm a fan channel commenting on what George Pickens just said. It's not a huge deal. He's going to go out there, have a good game. I still believe he's one of the best players, on the roster. I believe that he does have a bit of temper to him, a bit of rough around the edges, but he's George Pickens, and Pickens is playing really good football. He's lining people up. He's very physical. He's getting into scruffs with people. He's protecting his team. He's going out there doing the best that he can. He's still growing as a player. Not worried about this, oh my goodness, George Pickens, he's annoyed at the media. George Pickens is calling at the media. George Pickens is blah, 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 being thrown on the bus or whatever it is. They will now create stories over what he said about not being fined. They'll say that he's a diva, he's a drama queen, all those things. Don't listen to it. Do not listen to it, to those things. I firmly believe that he's doing his best. He's still growing as a player. He's like 24 years of age, 23, 25, whatever he is. He's still going through. He's still trying to, mature as a person and as a player. And he gives the Steelers the best chance to win. So from this guy here in Australia, not really worried about George Pickens saying, I'm just here so I won't get fined. So I'll end it. I'm just here so I don't get fined. I'll see you guys later.